Hi, everybody. Welcome back to your favorite podcast. And if you don't know what your favorite podcast name is, what are you even doing? I'm just kidding. Welcome back to Literally What. I hope everyone had an amazing week, an amazing weekend. I guess technically it was St. Patrick's Day. It was the end of spring break. So all festivities have come to an end. But that just means we're getting so much closer to summer. And when I tell you, I am so ready for summer, especially this will be my first year being in Florida, living here for the summer. Oh my gosh, I saw some TikTok video. As always, anything I see, let's just all pretend and just know that it is definitely from TikTok. But I saw something where they made the super cute like trifold board of like a summer bucket list. And I remember I would always make a little summer bucket list on like a piece of paper every single year. And especially, oh my gosh, do y'all remember when you did like the fall bucket list? That was really fun. But I would always do a summer one. And so I think I'm going to do a trifold Florida summer bucket list. And that'll just be so fun. Because I've also been trying to get into active hobbies, which has been on my For You page. It's been on even my Instagram Reels. It's been popping up. And I think it's time that I start getting some active hobbies. So basically an active hobby, I mean, it's an active thing that you do. So obviously like I read all the time, but I've been getting puzzles. Okay. I have been buying puzzles and I'm honestly like not that bad. I got a 500 piece puzzle 2 days ago, or maybe it was yesterday, and it is already completed and it is already done. So maybe I'm just like a puzzle master. I don't know, but I've been doing that. I did get a coloring book because that not only is an active hobby, but it helps with anxiety. And what else? Like walks. I don't know. I mean, that's more like exercise, but just more active things that get my brain moving. And yeah, where did I even start out with that rant about active hobbies? Oh, like being like more arts and crafts. So yeah, like my bucket list would be like a creative, active hobby. And yeah, if anyone else has other active hobbies, I did attempt to bake some things. And I had like some leftover things that I just needed to get rid of before I went to the grocery store. I've been trying to use up all of my groceries before going and getting more. I'm not a baker, okay? I have improved a lot on my cooking since I've been married. Baking, no, I don't know what that gene, that talent did not get passed on to me, but I was feeling so just like creative and I was like, I'm going to make a peanut butter cookie and I'm going to like smash up Oreos in it. And then I was going to do like a Hershey Kiss kind of thing. And it, I don't even know what I did. So I basically like made the cookie batter, like to make cookies. It was so watery. And I followed like, I looked up a little bit on like how to make like a base. I don't know how to explain it. Like not how, anyway, I looked up something and it didn't turn out how I thought it was going to be, even though I followed the exact recipe. That was literally 3 ingredients. So then I added like a ton of flour and I just kept adding things, hoping to thicken it. It literally was not thickening. I don't know what the heck, like maybe my hands just like are meant to fail when I'm trying to bake something, but I added probably like 3 cups of flour. The consistency stayed the same. So I couldn't form like cookie dough. Like it was just like a cake batter. But like, I don't understand how that is even possible. Like with wet and dry ingredients, like the dry ingredients were literally way overpowering. It was like quadruple. So moral of the story, I'm never baking again and I'm just going to buy pre-made cookies. But I ended up just putting it in like a cake pan and I shoved like Oreos in it and I put it in the oven, took it out, and it just literally tasted like flour and was disgusting. I was going to try to make like some kind of peanut butter bread. I don't know what I was doing. And it was awful. So baking, don't recommend that for me because it's just never, ever going to happen. And yeah, that was so interesting. And then I felt bad because then like I texted my husband. I was like, oh my gosh, like I made this super cool like peanut butter Oreo cake bread thing. And by the time he got home, I had thrown it away. He didn't mention it. Thank God. He probably forgot, because I was not letting him try that, because it was just disgusting. Anyway, active hobbies. Don't recommend pickleball. I just know that I won't like pickleball. Me and my sister used to go play tennis, and tennis was fun. I wasn't the best at it, and I just feel like pickleball is like, I don't even know what it is. I feel like it's on a shorter or smaller court. I don't know. Everyone's playing pickleball, but I just feel like I would not be the best at that. I think that's just like the most popular hobby right now. So don't recommend that, because like I've heard it before. Yeah, active hobbies. Let me know. Oh my gosh, I remember when I was a kid, had this just pop up. I took knitting lessons. Like, why? I also like failed at that. Played piano growing up. Maybe I'll start playing piano. I just need to get better about more active things like hobbies, not just like scrolling on TikTok, because if it gets banned, which I mean it won't, let's be real, but if I can't scroll mindlessly, I need other things to fill up my time. So anyway, that is all I had to rant about for that, but I hope everyone had a great St. Patrick's Day. I love St. Patrick's Day. I'm actually Irish. If you can't tell, like I literally have red hair and burn when I step outside, but it's one of my favorite holidays, and my goal is to somehow, some way before I die, end up in Ireland for St. Patrick's Day. That would just be like a dream come true, because it's really not the same anywhere else. I feel you can go to like a pub. We went down to the Disney Springs area, and they had like an Irish pub, but it's not the same. Everyone was just in green and like those cheesy hats and like sunglasses, and I was like, this isn't the vibe at all. So maybe one day I'll make it there, who knows. But I do love St. Patrick's Day. It probably goes Christmas. I also love the 4th of July though, but that's my husband, so like I don't have the same as him, because that's like so cheesy. St. Patrick's Day is probably my top 3, maybe top 5. It's just a fun holiday, you know. I'm trying to think. This weekend, oh my gosh, we got a fish. We named it Franklin because my husband had 2 turtles, and when we were dating, he brought them over to my house for me to babysit these turtles, okay? And he had them in just like this really big like black kind of tub thing, and that had like water and then like rocks and plants, and it was like a cute little play area for them. And I forget how long I had them for, but one morning I woke up to, and this, like, the tub was outside because it was like really big, and like I don't want turtles and turtle water all on the carpet, but I went outside and I noticed that like it rained the night before, and the tub was filled with water with no turtles to be found. And I tell myself that they just kind of like swam off and like walked away and like are living really happy right now. But we never saw them again. And anyway, all that to say, one of them, my favorite one, was named Franklin, and so we named the fish after him. Hopefully this fish lives, and he's honestly like the prettiest fish I've ever seen. I never had fish growing up. I'm more of like I want an animal that I can like harass and like cuddle and, you know, but fish for me, I'm like, I can't really pet them, so like what's the point? But this one is actually really cute, and it like looks at us like, I think it can tell that we like are its parents. So he's really cute. He always like stares at me when I walk by. We got like a really sleek looking like all glass fish tank. It looks really, really cool. So we'll see how this little fishy does in this household. He's good. Like my husband's really good with fish. He grew up with fish, but I just feel like I can't, like, I don't know. I don't feel the same connection with a fish as like a dog or like another animal that I can like hold. But maybe I'll try to pet Franklin and like he'll warm up to me. So yeah, that happened. That was really fun. I haven't like randomly bought an animal in a long time. I did like my freshman or sophomore year of college, I did buy a guinea pig named Brownie. If you remember Brownie or have ever met Brownie, I had him for probably a month. You're literally like such a real one. And then I ended up returning him, or made my mom return him because I was allergic to him and he hated me and he just bit me and like would hide under my nightstand. So after that, I like never got another animal, but like I just love animals, but that traumatized me because he hated me so much. And then we were getting the fish. There was a guinea pig there and I was like, should I? But I know that I shouldn't because it didn't work out last time. So anyway, I just love animals, and just some of them, might not love you back, and that's okay. They're probably just more introverts. So anyway, we have a lot of good stories to get into. I literally, for some reason, The Bachelor, I thought that last week was the final episode. However, the final episode is this week. So I have the Woman Tell All recap today. And we have a few just like kind of sad, like not fun stories. And then I saved all the fun ones for the end so that we don't end on like a depressing note, because that's never what we want here. That's never what I want you guys to take away from finishing an episode, is like being sad. So yeah, I guess without further ado, let's get into some hot gossip, hot take, stories, and advice that will have you saying literally what? Oh my gosh, also, I do believe this is the first time I have worn a hat on the podcast. And let me just say, I love hats. I think they just complete an outfit. And like, if I just am not feeling myself that day, or just like some days, you just don't look as good, a hat just like makes everything better. And I always forget about hats, and then I'll like re-find hat wearing, and then I'll like wear it for like a week straight. And it's not even because my hair is dirty. I washed my hair this morning, but it just like, I don't know, it's like so cute. Like I feel kind of sporty, or just that I look a little bit older, because especially like when I do like my grocery shopping or like run errands, everyone always thinks I'm like literally 16 years old, and I'm not, obviously. So I just feel like when I have the hat on, I have like my purse, it just kind of like elevates and gives me like a couple years to my age, so that people don't think I'm like walking around like and have lost my mother in the store. So anyway, yeah, first time wearing a hat. This is one of my favorites. I honestly think this is my dad's hat that I stole. Pretty much every single hat I own, I have stolen from someone. I have like 3 that I took from my mom. One of them was one of my friends. I don't know. I never buy hats for myself, but I love wearing them. So, but they have to be the right shape. Like what are the ones that like are they bill? I forget what they are. Those I cannot wear. I think they look really ugly. That was a bird that was really close to the window. But these ones I like a lot more. I don't know what the other ones are called. They look ugly. Anyway, on me personally, not you. If you wear them, they look great on you. But me personally, I just don't love them. So anyway, also my Stanley, yes. I have been buying this like water powder flavoring thing because I love drinking water when it has a little bit of flavor to it. And I know it might be bad that I'm adding powder, but I really don't care because it gets me to drink like 4 of these a day. So if you need to drink more water, right now I'm using the Gatorade Zero Glacier something powder, and I put like half the packet. So good, and I can like down this whole thing. It's just really good. I'm a flavor type of girl, so like if it doesn't have any flavoring, get it away from me. It can't be plain. That was so random, but okay, let's get into our first story, which is on a very sad note about the Quiet on Set Dan Schneider Nickelodeon documentary. I did watch all 4 episodes, and it was like every episode kept getting worse and worse and just awful, because obviously I grew up watching Nickelodeon, and then you grow up after that whole saga hearing all of the rumors about Nickelodeon, all of the bad things that Dan Schneider was doing, and there was never really anything behind it, just a lot of like rumors and whispers and speculations. And so the fact that this has now come out, I was so shocked at the amount of people who were on this documentary. There were a lot of writers, directors, actors, parents of children, and just a lot of people who came came out to speak. And I will say beforehand that a lot of the people who did work on Nickelodeon, Josh Peck, Ariana Grande, Victoria, is that her name? Victoria Justice. Just a lot of people that weren't on this documentary, I know were getting tons of hate after it came out. And obviously, like, there could be so many reasons why they either A, weren't on the documentary, or like B, haven't said anything on social media. They could have signed an NDA where like they legally can't say anything. They could have really not experienced any of that and just, you know, didn't have an awful time and now have kind of like moved on, and like Nickelodeon was kind of like what set them up for like where they are now. Or they could have just like, it's obviously like very, very sensitive subject material and very just like traumatizing things that happened. And especially when you're just at such a young age, maybe a lot of them, like, they went through it, they, you know, went to therapy, they've kind of like left it in the past and don't want to go back into that, you know, just grossness and nastiness that they went through as a child. And maybe they just don't want to speak on it, and maybe they're past it. And that's totally fine. Like, if they have gone through something, if anyone has ever gone through something traumatizing and don't want to speak on it, that is their, like, that's their responsibility to choose what's best for them. So I think the hate comments and just like the harassing them to like speak out or say something, maybe they just don't want to, maybe they don't have anything to say. And on the other hand, the people that did come forward, I think that is just like a really brave thing to do. And for the ones who were able to kind of bring this and all of these issues to light is a really great thing that they did. But especially Josh Peck got a ton of hate, I think, because Drake Bell obviously was on the documentary, and they're just kind of hand in hand because they were on Drake and Josh together. But it's like, why are we getting mad at the child actors and actresses? Like, let's get mad at the people who are evil people and made this whole thing happen. So I just want to preface that by saying I'm not going to talk about anyone that wasn't on the documentary, because that's their choice, how they want to go about all this. So the documentary, I took a lot of notes on it, but there is just so much that if you really want to get the full story and know like everything, I would watch. It's 4 episodes. There is a lot of heavy subject material, and it is really sad. So if you are younger watching this podcast, hi, just be very cautious when watching it, because there's a lot of stuff that's talked about that's just like made me sick to my stomach. So just be aware of that before going into it. So basically the first couple of episodes was just a lot of setting it up. There were a lot of actors from the show All That, which that was what kind of started out Nickelodeon. I think that was the first show that Dan worked on. And so that was what they kind of started out talking about. And there were 2 writers, women writers, who wrote for, I believe, All That, and then also The Amanda Show. They came out and said just a lot of things as well about just their experience with Dan. You know, just them being in the writer's room, and, you know, there would be some inappropriate joke in the script, and then someone would bring it up, and then Dan would be like, no, that doesn't mean what you think it means. But then, you know, when they were in the writer's room, he would be like, yeah, like, it means that, but like, don't tell anyone. So just a lot of that, of just kind of like, yes, like, they did know what they were doing. And with, you know, obviously the dirty jokes and things that alluded to other things, they knew what they were doing. Like, it's not as if, you know, I mean, it's adults writing these jokes. So everything that was written that seemed to be a bad joke, they knew what they were doing. And that's why when we look back now, it's like, yeah, like, that was a bad joke, and that's literally what they intended it to be. So just a lot of that. A lot of people were just saying that, just like Dan on set was either just like being really nice, or he would just be like a complete asshole to everyone, like yell at them, scream at them, make them feel bad, just like embarrass them. He would ask a lot of women for massages and to massage him on set, and there's literal picture and video. So everything that was talked about with Dan, there was like, just, it's not like he can come out and defend himself, because it's like everyone was there and like saw what was happening. So then they talked about how he ended up getting sued for gender discrimination, a sexually hostile work environment. not equal pay because the two women writers were splitting like one salary, and then they ended up just settling. This was all on like the first or second show that he did. So this was just like at the beginning of his career at Nickelodeon. All of this was already going down. So imagine like how much more worse it got, obviously, because he was getting away with this. And for just how he was treating the women writers, especially like things that happen in the writing room and just like things that you'll have to watch it. But it's like if he was doing that to these like adult women, like what was he doing to these like, you know, younger girls? So anyway, it was just, there were a lot of, as one of the people said, like there were just seeds in the beginning of like the kind of person he was. So then we get into, there were a lot of, or not a lot, but there were a couple men who worked in Nickelodeon who ended up being arrested for pedophilia because they were discussing people and how were these people hired on Nickelodeon working with all of these young kids. So the first guy they talked about, he was trying to talk to some like little girl who was on she was on All That. And then something else came out about him. Then he ended up getting arrested. And then we get into Brian Peck. And he was another person who worked at Nickelodeon. And basically he ended up getting arrested. They brought all of the kids into like a room, and then they basically told him like, hey, like he's not going to be working with us anymore, like blah blah blah. Something happened with him and a child actor, or like a child, and then they were like, well, not one of like ours, right? And then it cuts to Drake Bell comes out. OMG, like crazy. And that's how the episode ends, of course. So then we go to the next episode, and it's, you know, I'm not going to go into all of it because it is just disgusting, honestly. So I would just watch it if I were you. You can also just look it up. But basically, like, Drake was 15. He had worked on All That. He'd worked on the Amanda Show, and then they were wanting to have like some kind of show with like two guys, and that's obviously came to be Drake and Josh. And so Drake and Josh came out in 2004. Brian Peck was arrested in 2003. And so by the time Drake and Josh came out, everything that happened to Drake Bell, this was all prior to that. So just for me watching, like, Drake and Josh was my favorite Nickelodeon show. That was the one I watched the most and saw every episode. But knowing that he had been through all of that, and it's awful. And it makes you just wonder, like, what did all these other people go through? You know, it's like, it made me sick to my stomach. So, his story was just crazy. He ended up getting only 16 months in jail, I believe. The craziest part for me is, they showed how, so Drake and then Brian Peck obviously went to court. Went to court. But apparently Brian Peck's side had so many people on his side. And also there were 41 letters sent in support of Brian Peck. And they did share some of the people who wrote letters of support. Oh my gosh. The one that was shocking to me, James Marsden. Okay, he wrote a letter of support about Brian Peck. Alan Thicke, Ryder Strong, Ron Melendez, Joanna Kearns, and in some of these letters, like, they would be like, it had to have been some temptation that, you know, he wouldn't have just done this, like something had to have happened. Just like sick things. That was really shocking that they shared like some of the letters. And then of course some people came out later saying, I didn't know what the letter of support was for, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, that whole saga. But then he ends up getting hired. Brian Peck, like, he gets out of jail, and now I'm pretty sure he's like still working for something, but he was hired at Disney and worked on Zack and Cody. Like, I don't understand. How are you having these disgusting people working for places that literally have children and are focused on children? I just don't understand. Alexa Nicholas from Zoe 101. She was another person who spoke a lot. She was on Victoria. She spoke a lot about the just how she was portrayed and how she was, you know, she wore these things for the show, just, you know, for the male gaze. A lot of the gross jokes that were happening. She remembers specifically one time where the guys on set, like, it was, you know, something happened and the guys literally were just like saying like, yeah, that was like meant to look like this, and just like gross things like that. She spoke really well, and it really opened up your eyes. Obviously now I would never let my children do child acting, anything like that, because it's crazy. I would recommend watching it. But then, so this comes out quiet on set. Literally, like, I want to say the next day, after, like, maybe 2 days after, Dan Schneider comes out with some video where he's sitting down with another actor who worked for him. And they did like, this whole 20-minute thing, like, recapping. And, like, it was so, oh my gosh. Because obviously there's a lot of speculation about Dan and Amanda Bynes, which also in the first episode, a lot of talk about Amanda Bynes and, like, how close she was to Dan. There was a lot of that. Obviously, like, they didn't go any farther into that, but anyway, so he basically was like, watching over the past 2 nights was very difficult, me facing my past behaviors, some of which are embarrassing and that I regret, some, like, literally, what? And I definitely owe some people a pretty strong apology. It just, it made me mad, because it was almost like, what was the point of you putting this out? Because the guy who was like interviewing him or whatever would just be like, oh, like, you know, what about this that was talked in the documentary? And then he'd be like, oh yeah, like, I'm sorry, like, I'm just embarrassed, like, I would never do that again now, and then like moved on to the next thing. It was just like so I don't understand. It was just annoying to watch and like frustrating. He looks like just awful. And I don't know. Who knows if now that this documentary has come out, if other people will come out and say something. I think part of him saying what he did and coming out after the documentary, maybe he's like, oh, well, I don't look like the worst person now because of Brian Peck and like all of those other allegations. I don't know what went through his head when he was coming out with this. Like, I don't understand. I don't know. Maybe he just didn't want people to keep asking him for, but even in the documentary, it was like Dan Schneider, you know, denied blah, 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 like in the documentary. So he obviously is like I don't want to say in this, but he's not hiding. Like, he's very much like out in the open, and like, it's just weird. It's very creepy. It's almost as if he's like, yeah, I did it, but like, nothing's going to happen to me. Like, nothing's happened. So I don't know. It just, anyway. So yeah, that's the whole little, but if you want to know, there's just so much that they go into. So I would watch a documentary, and then if you want to watch his stupid little 19-minute conversation, it's honestly a waste of time, but the documentary was very, very interesting. Okay. Next big story, Kate Middleton. She has come out saying she was diagnosed with cancer and is undergoing chemotherapy. There obviously are a lot of people who have said some things. You know, there was a lot of speculation on where she was. There were a lot of crazy rumors. I mean, and here's okay, my stance, because everyone's like, I hope everyone feels so dumb and stupid right now and like blah, blah, blah. Obviously, there were a lot of rumors and speculations that even like news sources were posting as headlines that was so totally wrong. Like that William like had an affair, and like she's, you know, getting a divorce, or, you know, awful rumors like that. But the other hand, she is a very, very, very public figure, and she is like one of the biggest faces of that entire country. So obviously, if people think something's wrong or off, they're going to be asking questions and wondering. It's almost like, you know, say it was like Taylor Swift or like the president of the United States. Like, people are going to speculate. That's just, it comes with being a public figure. So I get the whole like, leave her alone, let her have privacy. However, she's a public figure, and like, people are going to speculate and ask questions. So I don't know. However, I was not expecting this at all. I hope that her recovery is really, really speedy. And, you know, I can't imagine, because I mean, she has like 3 kids, right? And that's got to be so hard to figure out how to go about telling them. And, you know, just, I can't imagine. and even now, like, I will say what's annoying me is people are like, oh, well, now that video is like totally AI. It's like, okay, at this point, like, now you know what is wrong. I mean, there was something wrong. We know now what it is. So now we can leave her be, let her rest. Obviously, it wasn't like she was going to never tell people, because I just feel like you have to, as like, even like King Charles came out, you know, when something, I don't really follow the whole royal family as much, but with this, like, I was following it and I was reading into things, and that's just how we are as a human race and population. Like, we do like look into things, and like if we think something's wrong. However, I think if the rumors go a little out of hand, that's just kind of like, okay, let's just take a step back. But yeah, that's got to be very, very tough to go through. The type of cancer was not disclosed. But she said, this, of course, came as a huge shock. William and I have been doing everything we can to process and manage this privately for the sake of our young family. As you can imagine, this has taken time. It's taken me time to recover from major surgery in order to start my treatment. So, prayers go out to her and her family. But now that we know, now I think people can stop with the speculations, because speculations are still going on, and it's like, all right, let's give it a rest now. Anyway, okay. Next story. Christine Quinn from Selling Sunset's husband has been arrested. He was arrested a second time. So, I think like 4 days ago, he was arrested for assault with a deadly weapon. On March 19th, there was a call involving a domestic dispute. So she shares a 2-year-old son. And Christian threw a bag with glass at, I believe, Christine. He missed and struck the 2-year-old child. Are you kidding me? Police and paramedics arrived on scene and treated the child. And he was booked on assault with a deadly weapon. And yeah, awful. Then, okay, he was arrested again, like a day later, after violating protective order. So a day after he was taken into custody for the assault with a deadly weapon, he was once again arrested March 20th for returning to the family's home, despite Quinn being granted an emergency protective order. And it obviously was put in place after he literally chucked glass at his child. So I guess he went back to the house. So then he was taken back into custody on a $30,000 bail, and he is scheduled to appear in court April 11th. Quinn's focus is on the safety of her child and making sure that they remain safe and protected. She has hired legal counsel. They're working on a restraining order, so hopefully they get divorced soon. And it goes to show that, like, you literally never know what's going on behind closed doors, and it can look like a perfect little match. Like, everyone, I'm pretty sure, was like, loved them and didn't think anything was wrong. And then it's stuff like this happens, and it's just like, you really, really never know. So I'm glad that the baby's okay. I can't imagine. That is just awful. So those were our 3 like not fun stories. So now we do have some better stories. So the first are just some movie updates, some new movies coming out. I love doing these just because I think it's fun, and I never watch new movies, and I want to get back into it. So I try to like stay up on all the like movie news. So the first, Margot Robbie is reported to produce the new Sims movie. I had to put this in there because I love playing Sims, and one of my best friends, she also played Sims, and we always would like talk about it. And the fact that it is like going to become a movie is, I'm very intrigued to see how they're going to do it, because obviously if you don't play Sims, like, they don't speak English, like they have their own language. It's like literally a simulation about life. So it's like, how are they going to make that into a storyline? But with the games lacking a direct plot, the Sims movie leaves much room for creative interpretation. Margot Robbie, who produced and starred in Barbie, is not one to shy away from old projects, so here's what we know so far. Kate Herron is set to direct the upcoming movie, and then Margot Robbie obviously is helping produce the film. Margot Robbie 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 Sims users play as multiple avatars with various personality traits, skills, and relationships. Obviously, if you've played it, you know. So we don't really know. I guess that's all we know is that they're coming out with a movie and like nothing else. So I don't know exactly what it's going to be. I don't know what the plot's going to be. I think it could be interesting. Maybe. If they make it though, like the Sims language, and then we have to like read the subtitles, that'll be weird, but who knows? Maybe it'll be like someone's playing it and we hear like their language and then we like go in and like are a Sim so then we can like understand what the Sims are like saying, and like I don't know what they're gonna do. I think it'll be interesting to see what they do. Okay, next, BeetleJuice trailer has come out. Obviously, I think maybe I talked about this, but the trailer came out. They did keep Winona Ryder, Catherine O'Hara, Michael Keaton, and Tim Burton is still the director. So I keep thinking I heard something. Maybe not. And I talked about this last week, when it comes to like sequels to movies, like when they keep the same characters and the same idea, that's what I love. I don't like when it's like a sequel or like a remake and then it's like all new people and it's like, what's the point? Like, just make something original. But I'm excited for this. I think it'll be really good. And if you haven't seen the trailer, go see the trailer because it's actually like really cool. Okay, and then the last little movie, this one my husband kept sending me things about, and he's like, oh my gosh, you haven't talked about this, blah, 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 this is so cool. Happy Gilmore 2 is rumored to be coming out. Well, not rumored, it is coming out because Adam Sandler did talk about it. So Happy Gilmore sequel reportedly in development. So the first one came out in 1996. The tale of Adam Sandler's wannabe ice hockey pro turned pro golfer has cemented its place in the hearts of golf fans around the world. It's generally regarded as one of the best golf movies ever made. I know I've seen this because I'm pretty sure I've seen like every Adam Sandler movie because I love Adam Sandler movies. I don't remember it, but I know I've seen it and I know I would have liked it. So yeah, it's been discussed, and then Adam Sandler went up to Christopher McDonald, who played Shooter, and he was like, you're gonna love this, and he handed me the first draft of Happy Gilmore 2. So it's in the works. We don't know anything else about when it will be happening, but it is happening, and I think that'll be really exciting. And my husband sent something about like Tiger Woods is rumored to be in it and play someone who was in the original, so that would be cool. But that's exciting. So Happy Gilmore 2. Okay, next story that kind of goes along with the Barbie theming is that Mattel announces a second theme park that will be opening in 2026 in Kansas. Why I say Kentucky? It'll be opening in Kansas City, Kansas, and will feature attractions inspired by Barbie, Hot Wheels, Thomas and Friends, and more. So in August of 2023, it was announced that its first Mattel Adventure Park would be located in Glendale, Arizona, and it's set to open this year. So there will be one in Arizona, and then they open a second location in Kansas that will be in 2026, which I think will be super, super cool. And it will also have a Barbie beach house, that is so freaking cool. It's going to take shape at the new park. And there's also there's another one that's going to be at the Arizona location. And it will have the Barbie Dream Closet experience where visitors can curate the perfect Barbie approved outfit. If it is like there's a Barbie TV show on Netflix that me and my sister watched. Maybe we still watch it, okay? And if it's like that house with like the walk-in closet, oh my gosh, like I need to go there. Where was I? I want to say New York City. There was like a Barbie dream house that you could walk into. It was like a store. I want to say it was in the Toys R Us, but I don't think it's there anymore. But that was really cool. So I think that would be crazy that would be really cool to see. Where even is Kansas City from me? Because Arizona is really far. So maybe I'll have to visit Kansas. But that also is like the most random place to put a theme park, in Kansas. I wonder why they chose Kansas. Anyway. Okay, and our last story, which is so exciting for me because one of my favorite people, Miley Cyrus, was named the youngest Entertainer. She was the youngest person honored as a Disney legend. So Miley Cyrus is making Disney history at 31 years old. The award-winning singer, songwriter, and actress will become the youngest entertainer to be named a Disney legend. Honestly, she deserves it. She is and will forever be the it girl of Disney Channel. You can disagree. It will always be her. Okay. So she will be honored along 13 other entertainers at the Disney Legends Awards ceremony that will be in August. So to be named a Disney legend is the highest honor our company can bestow on anyone. It's reserved for those whose talent and achievement have earned them an enduring place in our history. Bob Iger said in an online statement, the 14 individuals to be honored at Disney Legends this year have made extraordinary creative contributions across the world of Disney, and we look forward to celebrating them at the Ultimate Disney Fan Event. I just feel this really is, in the past couple years, I just feel has been like Miley's year. I mean, she won her first Grammy. She's now going to be the youngest to win the Disney Legend Award. I'm just, anyone who I grew up watching who is now still like thriving just makes me so happy. She started acting at 8. She started Hannah Montana at only 13. She's now 31 and still just like has made just so many amazing career. I don't know what word I was looking for there, but I'm just so proud of her and I love her so much. And she will forever be my favorite Disney Channel girl. And that is that. So those are all the stories I have for you today. We will now get into our little Bachelor recap, which was the best women's tell-all I have ever seen. Ever, honestly. Obviously, it wasn't the finale, which I thought it was for some reason. I don't know why I didn't. I really don't know what's going to happen. I think that the thing that has never happened before, I don't know. He's obviously going to get engaged, I think. A lot of the editing, I'm sure they made it to look like he doesn't end up with anyone. Like when it looks like he's walking into the car. Well, this is the preview for the finale, but they could also just be him getting into the car to go to the rose ceremony or like to the proposal. So I don't believe all of the editing tricks that they're trying to do for us. I do think he will get engaged. I do think it will be Kelsey. Yeah, but we'll see. They could also be doing it to where we think it's Kelsey and then it's really Daisy. We may never know until tomorrow when it comes out. But the Women Tell All, oh my gosh, so good. They obviously started out by bringing all of the girls. When Maria came out, it went crazy. If they don't make her the next Bachelorette, I really don't know what they're doing. I do think she would be amazing on Bachelor in Paradise. However, she would be such a different Bachelorette and something that we honestly have never seen before, just her personality. And I really think they should pick her because that will get a lot of viewers. And I don't know who else that I would really want as the Bachelorette other than her. Maybe Lexi could be kind of cute. But I don't know. We'll see. We will see what they do. They played back, obviously, all the drama that happened throughout the season. And I noticed that Sydney was literally smiling. I cannot stand her. Her, Leia, and Jess all still pissed me off. And I hated them even more after watching them during this Women's Tell-All because they were so cliquey still. And I'm like, y'all are just literally the worst. But anyway. Oh, and then Autumn. Okay, I liked her at the beginning. Remember, like, I saw the first episode of The Bachelor and I was like, oh my gosh, like, I like her. Hate her. She kept making like comments like trying to be like on Leia and Sydney's side, and I was like, literally shut up. Like, you're on the wrong side. Like, everyone's obsessed with Maria, and every other girl from the cast except for those three little whatevers went to like Maria's side because they're like, oh, she actually isn't crazy. Anyway, so one of my favorite parts was one of the things that Sydney told Joey was that Maria told her to shut the F up. And it came out that she literally never said it. And it was one of the other girls who told her, or told Leia, that it wasn't even Maria and it was someone else. And it was so funny that it literally wasn't her. And they looked so stupid. But then Maria went over and like they all hugged and like made up. And like, I don't think her and Jess made up though. I think Jess is she was honestly the worst for me. she was just was just not, I just couldn't stand her. She was just being annoying. Anyway, I think that, I think when it came to Maria, the girls just, she had a very big, confident personality. And at the end of the day, the other girls probably weren't as confident and didn't like it. And that's why they don't like her. Those 3 girls couldn't get on board with liking her. Everyone else from the cast, I think, pretty much is fine with her now. But I just don't understand, like, why they all hated her so much, those 3 girls. And I will say, I forget her name. Oh my gosh. But she went off on, I believe it was Sydney, about like, no, you just like literally didn't like Maria. Didn't like, she didn't even do anything. Like, even from the beginning, you didn't like her. And like, I saw everything, blah, blah, blah. And that was really funny to watch. Like, they were just like destroying them. Like, Maria like left definitely with her head held high. Like, she, love her, go her. And of course, like, Jess, Leigh, and Sydney like all got like a picture together, and it's like, oh my gosh. So they'll probably all end up on Bachelor in Paradise, which they'll make for great TV, but they're just like annoying and awful people. Anyway, so then we go, Kelsey, Daisy, Joey. It's always like you forget about that there's like still a whole thing going on. Obviously Rachel, she went home and she came out on the Women Tell All, and it made me so sad because she was saying how she's been getting so much hate. And obviously, like, this whole season, Sydney, Jess, like, there's just been a lot I've been noticing, like, when I would go to their accounts, like, a lot of hate comments, like, more than normal. And then when Rachel came out, I didn't even know Rachel was getting hate. When I think it was when Maria went home over Rachel, I think that kind of sparked it, and she's been getting just a lot of mean comments. And it just goes back to, like, people just like on social media, this goes back to like bullying 101. Like, you don't comment mean things on social media. Like, you just don't hide behind a screen and type something mean. Like, you're just a disgusting person if you do that. So they made a big thing about, like, you know, stop the bullying, stop the online hate. And it was really bad this season. I didn't know it was so bad for like Rachel too, but just chill out. Like, get a life. Why are you hate? Like, I truly believe that like people who hate on other people like that just hate themselves even more, and it just makes them feel better to hate on other people. I don't know, I don't get it. But it was just really sad to see. So anyway, back to, we left off on a cliffhanger with Kelsey leaving the little letter, and of course the letter literally was just for her to go say like, I miss not being with you. Like, are you freaking kidding me? That is like the dumbest. That had to have been producer like inspired, because it was so dumb. And that's why I also think that the whole like finale is gonna be dumb too, because the letter was the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. And you could tell he was really pissed off. Like, that was not a good move on her part. So anyway, Rachel gets sent home. Now it's Daisy and Kelsey. We will see what happens. I will say, I watched Bachelor. What was that accent? Bachelor fan take on YouTube. He does like recaps, and it's really interesting because in a lot of the rose ceremonies, they will show Daisy getting the rose first from Joey, and like in the last one, then it was like Kelsey got the last one, and I think they were trying to make you wonder, like, is he gonna keep her if like she did the whole letter thing? But if you go back and look, when he is giving Kelsey the rose, there's a rose like on his little thing. So he gave Kelsey the rose first and then Daisy. And I think that happened in the final 4 as well, where he gave it to Kelsey first and like Daisy was last because there was like a rose that he had. Or like Daisy wasn't holding a rose when like Kelsey walked back. So it's weird how they're editing it. So part of me is like, are they editing it to like make us think something? And I don't know what's gonna happen. We will see. I'm very intrigued to see what's gonna happen tomorrow, and how they're gonna make it a 2-hour episode. I guess, is it live again? Like, do they talk to Jesse Palmer? I don't remember, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. And I'm honestly gonna be really sad when it's over, because like, what am I supposed to watch? I don't know anymore. Anyway, that is all I had to say. I'm sure I forgot so much of the Bachelor stuff, but I think that's everything I had to say. I think. Who knows? Alrighty. Well, that was a good episode. Who am I kidding? They're all great episodes. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully the stories next time are not as like sad. Maybe I'll just like not do the sad stories and just do like all happy stories this upcoming week. But get outside. It's almost summer. We're getting into the spring, the best time of year. Well, whenever I'm in a time of year, I say it's the best time. Like when it's like fall, winter, I'm like, this is my favorite time of year. And then I get to like spring and summer, I'm like, this is my favorite time of year. So I don't know. It's all just good stuff. It's all good weather. It all comes with different things. But yeah, I hope you all have a great week. Sunday Scaries, are the worst, but hopefully this podcast made it a little bit better. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next week for some more hot gossip, hot takes, stories, and advice that will have you saying literally what? Bye!